Most people view journaling as a passive hobby, a way to record memories, or look back at what you ate for breakfast. But for the Roman statesman, billionaire, and Stoic philosopher Seneca, writing was something entirely different. It was a psychological weapon. It was a vital sanctuary for an overworked mind. Seneca lived a life of extreme pressure. He was the political advisor to Nero, one of Rome's most volatile and dangerous emperors. He faced constant death threats, immense political betrayals, and the crushing weight of public life. How did he keep his sanity? How did he prevent his mind from breaking under the pressure? He didn't just meditate. He wrote. Seneca believed that an unexamined life is a breeding ground for anxiety. To him, putting a pen to paper was the ultimate act of mental restoration. Today, we're diving into the 5 profound writing and reflection practices Seneca used to process heavy emotions, dismantle fear, and find absolute calm in a chaotic world. Let's start with how Seneca handled emotional storms. When panic, anger, or grief hit most people, their instinct is either to explode or completely suppress it. Seneca did neither. He used what we can call the letter test. Seneca authored a series of famous letters to his close friend, Lucilius. But if you read them closely, these weren't just casual updates. They were a medium for taking heavy emotions the exact moment they struck and putting them up to the test. Instead of letting an emotion consume him from the inside, Seneca would externalize it. He would observe it on paper as if it belonged to someone else. He wrote to meditate on the feeling, asking, "Why am I feeling this? Is this emotion based on reality or a false story I'm telling myself?" By writing his thoughts to a friend, he was forced to articulate his pain rationally. If you want to use this today, you don't even have to mail the letter. When you're furious, anxious, or overwhelmed, write a letter to a trusted friend explaining exactly what you feel. The simple act of structuring your chaos into readable sentences strips the emotion of its raw, blinding power. You transform from the victim of the emotion into the scientist observing it. We live in a culture obsessed with optimization and hustle. We think resting our mind means scrolling through social media or watching TV. But Seneca warned that a mind given over to mindless distraction never actually heals. He wrote that the mind is like a muscle. If you strike an anvil repeatedly without stopping, it will eventually shatter. But his definition of rest wasn't doing nothing. He viewed writing as a way to work different parts of his mind to cause restoration. Seneca advocated for wandering walks and creative hobbies. For him, writing philosophy wasn't a chore. It was a replenishing escape. When you write freely without a strict agenda, stream of consciousness journaling, you allow your mind to wander safely. You release the tightly wound spring of daily deadlines. Writing allows your brain to unpack its heavy cognitive load. It gives your subconscious a place to dump its data, leaving you lighter, refreshed, and mentally restored. Perhaps Seneca's most famous intellectual tool was Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. Most modern self-help tells us to think positively. Seneca thought that was dangerous. He believed that the things we don't expect hit us the hardest. Therefore, he used his writing to aggressively map out his worst-case scenarios. He would literally sit down and write about losing his wealth, being exiled, or facing betrayal. Why? Because he believed that by perceiving potential ills beforehand, you rob present difficulties of their power. When the catastrophe actually happens, your mind doesn't panic. It says, "I have already met you on paper." Through his writing, Seneca constantly anchored himself in rational thought to prevent catastrophic spiraling. When you write down your worst fears in vivid detail, a strange thing happens. You realize that the monster in your head is much bigger than the monster on the paper. Writing forces you to reframe your perception and realize that your imagination is the true source of your suffering, not reality. But Seneca didn't just leave his philosophy on the page. He knew that intellectualizing comfort wasn't enough. He had to physically test it. Periodically, this incredibly wealthy statesman would step away from his luxury. He would spend several days wearing the roughest, cheapest clothing, sleeping on the floor, and eating only the simplest, poorest food. And during this physical reflection, he would look at his condition and ask himself one profound question. By combining his writing with voluntary discomfort, Seneca completely desensitized himself to the fear of losing his status. He realized that even if he lost everything, he would still survive. He would still have his mind, and he would still have his ability to reflect. This practice turns luxury from a golden cage into a minor convenience. While other Stoics like Marcus Aurelius were famous for journaling rigidly at dawn and dusk, Seneca's writing was more fluid. It was his life support system. However, in his essay on anger, Seneca did admit to a vital nightly ritual. When the darkness fell and his lamp was put out, he would interrogate his entire day. He would ask, "What bad habit did I shake today? What vice did I resist? In what way am I better?" He didn't judge himself with cruelty, but with the honest love of a friend trying to improve. For the Stoics, journaling was never a performance. It was an ongoing, daily battle for mental clarity. If you feel overworked, if your mind feels like it's about to break on the anvil of daily stress, do what Seneca did. Take a piece of paper, take a pen, put your emotions to the test, reframe your imagination, and find your rest in the written word. If this video helped you find a bit of clarity today, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom to master your mind. Until next time, stay reflective and stay resilient.